Hello and welcome to the Last Ditch podcast. This is an extra video for this week.
Bonus episode.
Let me speak. Hello and welcome to the Last Ditch podcast. This is a bonus episode for you all, and this week we are doing the greatest Premier League 11 of all time.
In our respective opinions.
Yep.
So we're going to run through. Well, we've both got a 4-3-3 formation for our sides.
Yeah.
We're going to run through them one by one and kind of compare, debate, whatever else about who's in our team. Do you want to start or should I?
You go for it.
Okay, so we'll start with the goalkeepers, obviously. And for my goalkeeper, and I think it's important to consider before we go into this that there's a bit of an age gap between, we're like 5 years age difference. We have seen kind of different players as we've grown up. We've been different age when certain players have been at the top of their game, when other players have been a bit, worse. So our opinions may also differ based on that.
Yeah.
And based on like whatever else. So for my goalkeeper, I have gone with Petr Cech.
Okay.
Do you want
to explain that?
I was going to say, I think I was talking about it. So, yeah, I mean, this is obviously, I think this actually is a good example of what I've just spoke about. I think me being a bit younger, I wasn't around to watch the Schmeichels, the Van der Sars, whoever else was on the top of the game at that time. But I think Cech, he did it for Chelsea, he did it for Arsenal. He had an unbelievable amount of clean sheets. And whenever I'd seen him play, he was just top of his game. He was absolutely brilliant. And I think his stats speak for themselves. I think that the fact that he did it for two of the top clubs in the country at a good level, I think kind of says a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm putting Petr Cech as my goalkeeper.
My goalkeeper. Now I went with literally. This, to be fair, there's literally the goalkeeper is the one that I didn't actually watch but I have seen documentaries. I've rewatched like games and stuff like that on YouTube, whatever, and I've gone with Peter Schmeichel.
Okay.
I just think that he is the keeper that everyone looks at and tries to model their game off. I think it's honestly like game saving saves that he did, and it was just a man mountain as well. Like, don't get me wrong, like he made mistakes like every goalkeeper, but I just think that when anyone looks at it, they go, he was the goalkeeper, the one. You know what I mean? And I think, to be fair, if it wasn't Schmeichel, I'd go with Alisson over Cech. I think Alisson's been fantastic. I think Alisson's almost. I think it went through a period with goalkeepers where it was like, Schmeichel, like Seaman coming out, making themselves big. Then he went through a period with like maybe Cech, Courtois, De Gea, Lloris, like maybe thinner like goalkeepers, but they're very like you know what I mean. Use their feet more, and like now it's kind of almost gone back to that kind of get out, make yourself big with Alisson, and Arne to some extent, like for United. Edison.
Arne's just fucking mental. That's what
who was the other one that
was Pickford.
Raya, Ramsdale in a way. Like these keepers, they're not like the De Gea's and that, like where they were thinner. They're quite a bit thicker set. You know what I mean? Like they've got that bulk to them a bit. Pickford, another one. So I want Peter Schmeichel in goal.
Okay. So should we go right back, centre back, left back?
Yeah.
Okay. So for my right back, I have gone with, and I would have gone with Gary Neville if I'd seen him play more, and I was around to see him play more. But I've instead gone for Kyle Walker.
Right.
I think he's done it at the top level with City for years. He did it with Spurs before that. And I think he's one of them. He's Mr. Consistent. You don't hear much about him, but that's because he doesn't do much wrong.
Yeah.
And I think there aren't many contenders really for like the best right back of all time in the Premier League. I think Gary Neville is the only other one that I could put up there, but I don't think I've seen enough of him to judge him to put him there. But
people put like Zabaleta in that there, and I think what?
No. Zabaleta did well in that City side, but I wouldn't say it was.
No, it wasn't the greatest.
No. But Kyle Walker's my right back.
I basically my look at this was I went with, if I was putting a team out in their best form, who would I pick? Right. And I actually went with Kyle Walker as well.
Really?
I nearly went with Neville, but then I thought, I just think with Walker, I've even for England, he's just so good. It's hard because it's like, for me, I'm looking going, if you're playing in a one-off game, you're picking the best players. Yeah. I'd probably pick Walker just for his pace. But I tell you what, I was very close to picking Neville. I just thought, because I didn't think you'd pick Walker. I thought you'd maybe go, and I think it's always kind of Neville, and to be fair, I normally do, but I didn't want to be like a Man United bias because I thought there's quite a few United players and obviously the greatest teams for obvious reasons. Yeah. And I thought I'll go with Walker because he is a fantastic right back, and he has been for his career, to be fair.
My right centre back, I have gone with John Terry, serial winner for Chelsea. Won so many trophies, captain, leader, legend, whatever the rest. Was prone to shagging the odd person's wife, but leave that aside, I think he was a brilliant footballer. And even afterwards, he continued off into coaching and he did really well in that, like for Villa and stuff like that kind of thing. But yeah, I think at the top of his game, nobody was getting past John Terry. I think he was just absolutely unbelievable. And I think the fact that he was the captain of that Chelsea side as well for so long kind of adds on to his legacy.
Yeah. I've also gone with John Terry. I think he was just like a stone wall.
Gosh, I'm the same fucking teams.
We're going to end up just reading out the same team. No, I think absolute stone wall at the back, and I think you put him in. And to be fair, I'll move on to my left centre back just in case we get the same one. I was between three for this. I thought John Terry was definitely in, and it was between three for me. It was between Yapstam, Nemanja Vidic, and Rio Ferdinand, and I ended up going with Rio.
Okay.
Just because I think Yapstam, it was only really a season or two that he was at United. You know what I mean? So it's like it wasn't enough to put him in the greatest of them, but he is a fantastic centre back. With Vidic and Ferdinand, I just thought Ferdinand would maybe just be a little bit more composed than sometimes Vidic was. Vidic was fantastic. My dad loved Vidic. But yeah, I went with Rio Ferdinand and John Terry as my two centre backs.
So the thing you said before about going into a game with a player at the top of their best form, who would you pick? So this is why I've picked this player, and I'm not sure.
I know you're going to say.
I'm not sure you're going to like it or you're going to agree with it, but I have got Virgil van Dijk in my back four.
It is what it is. Like,
and I think now. I mean, it's been a bit quieter recently with Van Dijk, but I think honestly, at the top of his game, at the top of Virgil van Dijk's game, he came second in the running for the Ballon d'Or that year.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think he probably should have won it. I think he's unbelievable, and obviously as he gets older, he's declining very slightly.
Since his injury, he's changed as a player, and that's what changed for me with putting Rio in, because I thought Rio did it over more seasons, and I thought.
But I think honestly, pre-Pickford incident, I think Van Dijk was en route to be one of the best centre backs in the league.
He probably would have been,
and I still think he is, considering the level that he was at. So Van Dijk is my left centre back in this team. Do you want to say your left back first?
Left back, yeah. I was between two again. There's quite a few of them. I was like between two, and then I ended up going with. So I was between Patrice Evra and Ashley Cole. I know people say Dennis Irwin, but I think obviously he must have been fantastic. My dad says he was a brilliant player, but I didn't watch him.
Yeah.
I think with Schmeichel it's a bit different, but it's hard to watch a left back than a goal. Do you know what I mean? When you watch your videos back, I went with Ashley Cole. I went with Ashley Cole just over Evra, just purely because he did it obviously with Arsenal and then did it with Chelsea. Brilliant for England.
And now he's at Birmingham City with Wayne Rooney.
He is. He's a coach and stuff. So I just thought he would be. I had to put him in. I thought Evra a fantastic player, but I thought if I'm going into a game, like we've said, I'd pick Ashley Cole.
I've also picked Ashley Cole.
Oh yeah.
The same fucking team.
No, not necessarily. What, we've got one difference.
Yeah.
Not two differences.
Two differences. Ashley Cole was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
I've looked back at some of the clips of him. I've seen games that he's played in. I just think honestly he was top quality.
Yeah.
He was really good at going forward, but he also offered a lot defensively, which is what you want from a fullback, someone who can kind of do both jobs. And I think he did both jobs incredibly well. Like you said, did it for Chelsea, did it for Arsenal. Moving on to our midfield. Should I start or should you?
Well, I went with we've done 4-3-3, haven't we?
This causes a lot of debate in the midfield.
So I've gone with two centre mids and a cam.
So have I.
Right. How do you want to do it? Do you want to do it play by play?
I can start.
Right, go on then, you go.
So my left centre mid is Kevin De Bruyne. I think there's a lot of contention for the centre mid spot. You've got your Gerrard, your Scholes, your Lampard debate. And I think putting KDB in there is probably might be a bit of an outside shot. Some people might not agree with it. But of course, this again comes into the kind of when I started watching football, and like the amount of football I've seen from Lampard and Gerrard compared to the amount I've seen from Kevin De Bruyne. I just think De Bruyne he's so incredibly consistent, and I think honestly he'd be at way higher standard than he is if he didn't get injured so much.
Probably,
he's been injured. He got injured in like Champions League final last season or the season before, whatever season there.
Last season he went off, didn't he? I think he went off in the other one as well, did he not? He's gone with 2 years.
He's injured at the minute, is it? And I think that does hold him back slightly. But from what I've seen in my lifetime, I think he's an unbelievable player, and I think he's still got a couple of years left in the tank.
I think with De Bruyne for me I think he's a fantastic player, but I always think he doesn't do it for Belgium really, and I think. You put him in a City squad, it's impossible to not.
No one does it for Belgium though. Like Belgium's golden generation went and gone, and now they're shite.
But I mean, he's not one of them players that drags. There's certain players that you can carry a team nearly with their quality, and I think he's an absolutely world-class player. But I think if you put him in a different team, because think of how much he's had Aguero to feed. He's now at Haaland. I mean, it's not hard to feed Haaland.
No.
You know what I mean? And I think, is that the reason he has been as good as... I think he is a fantastic player, and I'm not taking anything away from that. But I'm just...
See, I was thinking about maybe going with Gerrard, but he never won it.
So who did you go with as a two centre mids, like your two holders?
My two holding centre mids are Kevin De Bruyne and Paul Scholes.
Right. Okay. Can you explain the Paul Scholes one?
Well, I was going to say I was going to put Gerrard in there, but it's just the fact that he never won the league, and I think to be in a Premier League greatest team of all time, you probably need to have won the Premier League at some point.
Aye.
And like again with Lampard, I think Lampard was brilliant. Like he was a really good player, but I don't think I saw enough of him in his prime to kind of judge whether he should be in this team or not. So yeah, Paul Scholes. It's kind of a similar reason why he picked Schmeichel. I've seen a lot of stuff in documentaries about him. I've seen a lot of clips of him. He could pass a ball like no one else.
Yeah,
like it was honestly unbelievable the way he used to move football around. And I think he was one of them centre mids that you were talking about who kind of drag the team through a game and they kind of get to the final, they get to the finish line with them. And I think he was like the epitome of that. His work rate was unbelievable. He passed the ball incredibly well. He had a good fucking strike on him and all.
Aye.
So yeah, Paul Scholes, I think, was just all.
He was a fantastic player.
Paul Scholes always wins the Scholes Gerrard Lampard debate for me. Like it's
But
always.
I have gone with my first centre mid and my captain. I don't know if you've picked a captain. I have gone with Roy Keane.
Oh, okay.
I think Roy Keane gets in my greatest ever team every single time. Every single time, without debate. I just think, as humble as he kind of is, he always, when you ever see him talking, he never talks about how good he was. And I think he was so, at a point, he was underrated. And he was just, he led by example on the pitch. So for instance, I know it was in the Champions League, but just an example you can think of, when United were down to Juventus, and he rolled his sleeves up and went and, he got the goal, driving the team, and Fergie was like, absolutely, it was like a documentary, something that was talking, and Fergie was saying, he was my captain, all this kind of stuff, and it goes to King goes, well, isn't that what you're supposed to do? He's just
that's a job, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a job. He's supposed to do
this. Manchester United, for fuck's sake.
Well, that's what I think, and I think sometimes you need that player that's going to be in there and just keep that kind of level of, if you are getting the best player, you are putting Keane in there. And my other centre mid is Steven Gerrard. I could not put Steven Gerrard in. I absolutely love Scholes. Now, Scholes has fell short of this next person I'm going to say at Cam, because I think that Scholes is better higher up. Okay. I think if you're going with a bit of if you put Keane and Gerrard there, Gerrard, you know what, he's probably the one player that you look at and go, it was a sin that he never won the league. I mean, I'm not asked that Liverpool didn't win it. Like, I'm not bothered. But, I mean, when you watch it, he carried that Liverpool side. And now this is my debate, right? Because obviously you have Gerrard, Scholes and Lampard. Yeah. Right? For me, Lampard is third.
Yeah.
Now, my way of saying, I actually think, if you put Scholes in the Liverpool side and you put Gerrard in the United side, would Scholes do the same as what Gerrard did? Now, I know Gerrard was from Liverpool and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But what I mean is, that quality, Gerrard would have just been able to do that in the United side. And I'm not taking anything away from Scholes. I think Scholes is arguably one of the greatest midfielders ever. But I just think in this team, I've got to have Gerrard in. And for the next player, I'm going to say I couldn't leave this player out for Scholes personally.
For our centre attacking midfielder, should we say it at the same time? Because I feel like we might have the same one.
Well, I've gone with this player. He has played this position, but it's like a centre forward kind of thing.
I think we should say 3, 2, 1. Rooney. Yes. Yeah. Wayne Rooney is always going to be there.
Wayne Rooney is literally. I couldn't not have Rooney in. No, arguably him and someone else as like my footballing idols. Well, this is what I want. Like everyone has certain play. Like
shit.
So like some of my mate is obviously a United fan, Pat, and he loved Bergkamp.
Right.
That's when he watched it, and like.
I'm keeping on this, we can hear us both.
And then, he likes Bergkamp. It doesn't mean like, but Ronaldo for his like kind of his long, like even at Real Madrid and that, but Rooney is probably arguably my favourite Man U player.
He was just so good at everything.
Yeah, like, he was just such a shit house, and he was He's actually Wayne Rooney. This is a fact. Is underrated. I'm telling you that now.
I would say so. Yeah.
I think people looking at Rooney.
You know,
Wayne Rooney in his form, you put him in, he gets in any single side ever in the history of football in his peak years. He gets in every single
if
side.
If someone wants to see a clip that epitomises what Wayne Rooney is, watch that goal where he's arguing with the ref.
Can you add it in here?
Yeah, probably.
Add it in. That's actually from.
Where he's
that's what I've got my favourite art.
Where he's arguing with the ref. I think was it against like.
It was Newcastle.
Yeah, that was it.
Come in and he's
literally he's arguing with the ref. A second later, the ball's coming in. First fucking time,
right in the
volleys it, rifles it.
And it's funny because he runs up and hits it back in the net, doesn't he? He's like,
yeah.
He was angry. Rooney was elite. Rooney, he was unplayable. It's like for England, just complete and utter. God, he actually. Have you watched the documentary on Rooney? Because he said he used to just see like red mist, and he'd be like, some games I actually forgot about, like because he was just going in and he was like after that ball. You know when he got sent off against Portugal.
Yeah.
And he stepped back on the guy's balls, and I'm not being funny. That is not a red card offence. The guys were all over him, and he stepped back. He didn't do it on purpose, but he even says, "I actually don't know if I meant to or not." He says because I had no idea where. Yeah. And I thought, but Wayne Rooney for a fact gets into the team. But I put him in Cam as like a bit of a centre forward, just playing off the striker. You could play it as a 4-4-2, really. My team.
Yeah.
Left wing.
Ooh,
I've gone with Thierry Henry.
I have also gone with Thierry
Henry.
That's just unbelievable, isn't it?
I know people will say, "Oh, does he play there? You can't bring him in." Like, no, you've got to have him in, and I think he can play on the wing. So Thierry Henry, just arguably, this is some people's. Like there's a lot of people that I speak to, like a lot of my mates that say Thierry Henry is like the greatest Premier League footballer ever.
Yeah,
and I love watching.
I can agree with that to an extent. To be fair,
he's almost like I see Mbappe traits. I see Henry traits in Mbappe. Sorry,
yeah, definitely.
When you see Mbappe play, you think, God, it is a bit like watching Henry and stuff. And obviously, he went to Barcelona and what have you, and won stuff there. And I think he was just, he's probably up there with Arsenal's greatest ever player. Probably alongside maybe like Bergkamp.
No, I'd say he's Arsenal's greatest ever player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was a fantastic player, and yeah.
Right winger,
You went with that? Oh yeah, you went with Henry, didn't you?
Yeah, Henry on the left. You kind of to explain why I picked Henry. I'll play so on the right wing. This guy played fair a few different positions. David Beckham is my right winger.
Wow.
Honestly, and you know what? Part of it comes from watching that David Beckham documentary recently, but like not just from him as a person, like the stuff you've seen from him in that. And then I actually looked into it a bit more after watching that first part.
He was a fantastic player, David Beckham.
And I said before, no one can pass a ball like Paul Scholes. Paul Scholes couldn't pass a ball like David Beckham. Like it's
Beckham's crossing was unmatched.
The way that he worked, it was just mesmerising. Like he could be on one side of the pitch, nothing's going on. He's got two men on him. Next minute, he switched it, and the left back's throwing a run. It's like. He was unbelievable. And
David Beckham.
For that reason, he was absolutely incredible.
David Beckham's a footballing icon.
Yeah.
But
he was brilliant from set pieces and dead balls as well. It's just,
Premier League side, I think he still is a Premier League icon.
Yeah.
But I just think there's one player that was just above him. I honest to God was between one player and Beck's.
And
it was just
that one player?
Cristiano Ronaldo. I had to put him in. I couldn't.
You've got to go
Ronaldo, honest to God, Ballon d'Or, Champions Leagues, Premier Leagues at United, and you think.
How long was he at United for, Ronaldo?
He came in 2003.
Right.
From Sporting Lisbon, I think it was 2003.
And when did he go to Real?
And then he went in 2009. He was supposed to go in 2008,
right.
And Fergie was like, "Please give us another year, and then we'll honour it, and you can go."
Right.
He stayed for another year, worked his ass off, and then he went to Real Madrid. But I just think
you were always going to pick Ronaldo.
I had to really. Rooney and Ronaldo were always getting in my team, but it's hard because I thought I can't leave Henry out. I couldn't put Bex on the right, Ronaldo on the left, and leave Henry out because I thought that's a sin that.
Yeah.
But I could have easily done that. You know what I mean? I mean, Giggs. There's players that like probably miss out on this team that you go. Salah.
Giggs is not going in my team.
Giggsy.
Oh, you're joking.
People will say Salah. I don't think Salah gets in over Beckham or Ronaldo.
No. He's incredible, Mo Salah, but I don't think so.
He's not in the greatest Premier League team for me, and that's not biased at all. I just don't think he can get in. But the striker, I literally have got such and such or such and such.
My striker was always nailed on. So I mean, I suppose do you want me to say?
Go on, you say yours.
Mine was always nailed on. Shearer. It's got to be Alan Shearer. Has to be Alan Shearer. I don't know if it's just like I take a lot of pride in being Northern, right? I take a lot of pride in being where I'm from.
Where are you going to uni?
Liverpool. That's in the north.
No.
We've
That's alright, no.
got a Newcastle University because I love Alan Shearer so much.
Just asking you where you go.
I take a lot of pride in being northern. I take a lot of pride in being where I'm from. And Alan Shearer was just a northern boy. Like it was that. Even when he played for Blackburn, not even just at Newcastle, he was unreal at Blackburn. Like absolutely incredible, and then unbelievable for Newcastle. Top Premier League goal scorer of all time. That goes without saying.
Decent for Southampton as well.
The numbers speak for themselves. Like he's just incredible. He was absolutely unbelievable.
I think
he's iconic. He's incredible. Score goals like no other.
Top goal scorer.
He has to be striker.
I literally, I was edging towards Alan Shearer. My other take was Harry Kane. I just thought. I thought Harry Kane. No, because you've got to. But you've got to think of how close he is to Shearer's record. Like, and to be honest, if you think right, if we look back in 10 years' time, 20 years' time, Harry Kane would be on the he might if he'd stayed.
Yeah.
And he broke record, he'd have been on the level of Shearer in terms of
if he
goal
said
scoring.
Record,
yeah, exactly.
So
no, but this is what I mean.
That's why I thought my two.
So
have you picked one or two?
I've gone with Shearer because
Okay.
I don't think you can not put Shearer in. It's like obviously for Newcastle and stuff like that, he was insane. And you think, Christ, if you put him in any team, he'd probably be fantastic. I think Kane probably would be on the cusp of it. Like I think he definitely, if he'd stayed at Spurs or I'd gone to United or something, and he probably would have then overtaken Shearer for me. But Shearer won the Premier League with Blackburn, so it's like
that's the only reason I think that's another reason why I put him so far above Kane. Just Kane never won the league.
Yeah,
he never won anything. I mean, you're not going to win anything playing for Tottenham.
So that means if we go back through our team, so you'll have them both on the screen now. Yeah. I've gone with Schmeichel, Walker, Ferdinand, Terry and Cole, Roy Keane, Steven Gerrard, Wayne Rooney, Thierry Henry, Cristiano Ronaldo and Alan Shearer.
And my team is Petr Cech, Kyle Walker, John Terry, Virgil van Dijk, Ashley Cole. Midfield is De Bruyne, Scholes and Wayne Rooney, and the front three from left to right is Thierry Henry, Alan Shearer and David Beckham.
Now, one more thing we have to decide on. Well, we can say two, because I just had a thought.
Are we going to say manager?
Manager, and we can have a super sub. That's someone you would bring on. Someone you would bring on in, like, say, 85th minute plus to try and get you something.
Well, I mean, I think we're going to agree on the manager, aren't we?
Sir Alex Ferguson? Arguably. 13 Premier League titles.
I'm sick of the agenda that Pep Guardiola is even near Sir Alex Ferguson in terms of legacy. He's not. He's not
built. He's built a team with money, and Fergie built a team through youth, and yes, there was a bit of money involved, but I'm not being funny. You're not on the level, and I just think that Alex Ferguson's legacy. I hate it when they compare like Klopp and Pep to him because I think they're nowhere near him.
Not even on the level.
And to be honest, right, my top three managers in the Premier League are Fergie, Wenger and Mourinho. Above Klopp and Pep.
I probably agree with it, to be fair.
I think Mourinho could arguably go maybe above Arsene, but
an argument, but like I wouldn't say
Pep. I'm sick of the Pep argument of going, he's the greatest man. It's like, right, tell you what, if he goes to a team that's not got loads of money, or he goes to a team that's maybe a bit on the brink.
Give Pep the United job and see what happens.
No, don't give him the fucking.
We'll see what happens.
Send him to something like an actual like a Napoli, and if he does it at Napoli or he does it at like a Chelsea. I know Chelsea's got the money, but Chelsea's actually a bad example to use.
That's the thing with Mourinho.
Spurs
like,
maybe.
Mourinho when he won the UCL with
Porto.
Like, that's like the
because that's a debate, isn't it? Mourinho or Pep.
And then Sir Alex Ferguson getting Aberdeen to
beat Real Madrid.
I actually, little fun fact, recently for Gretna we played against East Stirlingshire. They were the team that Sir Alex Ferguson had his first ever managerial job at.
See,
bit of football trivia for you there.
I think that there's a big debate with Klopp or Pep, and then but I think the bigger one was Pep Mourinho. Yeah. And that's always who's it? For me, I look and go, one manager won the Champions League with Porto and Inter Milan.
The other one.
And one of them, no, he did win it with City. He won it with last year, didn't he?
But
what I mean is,
that long.
You won it with Barcelona, with arguably the greatest ever Barcelona side.
Yeah.
And a Man City side that could have probably won they should have won about the last three.
Yeah.
3 or 4 Champions Leagues.
Definitely.
But and super sub, who are you going with? This is probably maybe this is like a bit of a.
This is a chance for you to kind of just say someone you like, isn't it? Really, like, it doesn't even have to be like.
I won't say anyone that you've put in. I won't say anything like that because then it's just like you're just gonna come with the same person. Someone that maybe has a bit of a special place for you, like that you like watching or something.
A player that I enjoy watching particularly.
Oh, you have at any point in your life.
Enjoyed watching in my life. I'm going to say JJ Kocher. I think JJ.
All right. Wow. I literally was not expecting that at all.
Yeah, I'm going to say JJ. I think he was. Even though he was a flair player, and I think he was one of the first kind of flair players of that generation to come through the Premier League. And to be fair, I don't know why I've seen so many clips of him, but I don't know why I always see clips of JJ Kocher. He was so good they named him twice. Do you know what I mean? He can't say past it. But no, I think, and it's like it's the fact that he went to like teams that he was probably above the level of some of the teams that he played for.
Yeah.
Like, he went to Bolton when they were in the Prem. He played for Hull City at one point. You know what I mean? Like,
Aye.
but honestly, no.
I actually didn't know that.
I
He played for Hull.
I wouldn't say that he was as good, anywhere near as good as the other players that we put in our
No, it's a bit of a soft spot for a player, isn't
I
it?
don't know, it's got a bit of a soft spot for JJ Costa.
Yeah.
I think if you bring him on in the last like maybe like 10-15 minutes, he'd do a bit of his trickery, run the defenders a bit ragged, send someone through, and you've scored. No, I think he was brilliant.
Mine might shock a few people with who I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with Super Sub, who arguably defined the name Super Sub.
I think I know who this is going to be.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Yeah.
I have to. Literally,
the treble winning goal.
The treble winning goal, but not even that. He came on against Forest once in like, I don't know if it was like 80th minute, he got like 4 goals. Came on as a sub, honest to God, he got 4 goals against him. And I just think, for me, Ollie's always got a soft spot for me. And maybe more so was when he came in a manager and that. I don't know, I just think there's that kind of thing of going, if I'm looking to the bench, I'm going, right, who do I want to come on to score a goal? I'd probably want Ollie to come on. I know there's hundreds of other players people might go, why would you want them on? Why would you want them? No, I think it's a bit of a soft spot for the two of us, like who would pick. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is my super sub.
I felt so sorry for him with that interview after he left United.
Oh, I was nearly in tears watching that.
It was like Carrick was taking over as interim, wasn't it?
It'll be alright and all that. And I was like,
oh mate, God bless
I was
him.
sat in the car with my mate Pat and I was like, mate, this is horrendous.
So sad for him.
But yeah, so that's our greatest ever Premier League team, guys. So
bit of a short little bonus
yeah,
episode. Like,
if you let us know who you think, if we put these teams against each other, whose would win,
and tell us what you think of these like short kind of little because we'll have more of them on the way if you're enjoying them.
Yeah,
and,
we want to do kind of, obviously if you interact on the Instagram and the Twitter, like with votes, we tend to put up like 4 categories. This one came out. To be fair, I thought it was going to be the Beckham documentary first.
Very cool. I thought I was going to have to watch the whole fucking thing in like 2 days. I couldn't be arsed, mate. I'm glad that this one. I think I actually voted for this one myself just so I didn't have to do it. I was like, I can't be arsed.
We did get an overwhelming vote for the Premier League team, to be fair.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, the Manchester derby was another one that was up there, but we can't do that after this weekend.
No,
but the GOAT debate as well, Messi and Ronaldo. We'd love to get people on. Obviously, I'm in contact with some of my mates that like I've got good ball knowledge and would like to come on about this debate. A bit older, so they kind of have that kind of, you know, they saw Messi and Ronaldo play as opposed to some of like the younger lot that didn't really see them in their peak. So we'd love to get that on and get a couple of people to give opinions, you know.
It's mental to think that like kids born like in the past few years will never have seen Messi and Ronaldo in their prime.
No.
That's mad to think that they're missing out, man.
Exactly.
Being born. So
they'll just see it as like Al Nassr and Inter Miami.
God. Anyways,
sad, isn't it?
Thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy, please make sure to like and subscribe. Follow us on the socials, and if you were listening on Spotify, make sure to leave us a 5-star review because that helps unreal amounts, and it's all free. So yeah, thank you for watching and take care.
Spot on.
Why do you always end it with a fucking thumbs up?
I don't know, it's like a signature thing.
Spot on, guys.
It's like you yawning.
Yeah, my fucking thing is getting tired. I don't know why, I'm just tired all the fucking time.